Alright, welcome back to Terror Academy. My name is Spencer and I am your host as always. So today, I had an interesting request from a client, reader, and someone who emails me on the regular with very, very interesting updates. You know who you are. And she had an interesting suggestion to do with why someone might hate another person or why they might want to hurt you. And I'd actually thought about this overnight because obviously you could do a traditional pick a card, stone, whatever, and maybe the cards would tell me something slightly different per stone depending on various energies, etc. But I'm not going to do that because I thought, in all the past readings I've done beforehand where people ask, Spencer, why does this person not like me? Why do they want to hurt me? Why do they go out of their way to hurt me, etc.? The answer is always consistently the same. And so I thought I would do a single reading to answer the question of why this individual wants to hurt you, why they might get pleasure from hurting you, which is effectively the definition of the German word Schadenfreude, to feel pleasure at someone else's pain, at someone else's expense, right? So let's just do a simple 9-card reading. And I am confident that this energy will apply to you universally, no matter what. But, so that's effectively what we're going to do here. Because, again, I don't think the stones are necessary here. Sometimes we get bogged down in these formats, readers, and, it's not necessary. It just isn't. Very meaning of tarot is there are some written rules, some defined procedures, etc. But otherwise, sometimes it's just a matter of doing what you feel is going to give people the best answer, the answer that they need. So that's what we're going to do here today. So let's see. Why do they hate you? What about hurting you brings them pleasure, right? You could say, I would love to title this reading Schadenfreude Tarot, but unfortunately I don't think many people actually know what that means, so I probably won't be able to be so lucky. However, let's see what we have in store for you. So the first energy is, death reversed. Interesting how that works, hey? There's only one way to interpret this. First of all, the reversal of death, right? So this individual's state of mind and their state of being is not good. I mean, why else would they attack you like they do? But the reality is they seek to reverse death, right? The state that they are in, the state that they live in, is one of death, is one of blackness, one of destruction, a negative soul, right? Death rides upon a pale horse, like the old Johnny Cash song says. I mean, the armor is black alone. If that's not terrifying, I don't know what is. And then look at his horse. It's got a red eye like an albino rat. I mean, shit, that's pretty scary. And, there's a pope right there. There's a king on the ground, a child, a woman, showing that death is universal. Death takes all, right? So to see this reversed, this individual is trying to compensate for a lack of spiritual life, a lack of positive energy, by channeling their negativity in angst, in anger against you, right? So this can manifest in really 1,000 different ways, but the categories, the style of manifestation is pretty universal in the sense that if they're a boss, perhaps they'll deny you a promotion, perhaps they make you stay late, perhaps they're garnishing your pay. If they're a boyfriend, husband, significant other, potential suitor, they may deny you the love that you've become used to, accustomed to. They may begin to treat you poorly in many, many, many different ways. Whether it's the cold shoulder, perhaps a more selfish demeanor where there was once a generous one. If this individual is related to you, whether it's a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, could be even a cousin. I know typically when I give readings to people of South Asian descent, the question often involves cousins, oddly enough. So there could be 1,000 different meanings here, but I expand on death so much because it is the dominant energy here. There's just no getting around it. So let's see what the other 8 cards hold for us. Oh, that's a bit ironic. The 2 of Swords reversed. I mean, this is effectively reflecting the path that they chose, right? Like, why would they treat you in this manner? Why would they wrong you in this way? Why would they choose this negative path? There's a lot of deception here, but I kind of want to come back to this in a little bit. Could actually be a little bit contextual, though I think it's going to pair, like it pairs nicely with death, but I'm going to try and make this around 20 minutes. I don't want to be here all day. Oh, interesting. 6 of Pentacles. Rationed kindness. Perhaps a reversal of that behavior in the past, but I don't necessarily... Oh, wow, okay. Sorry, let's pause this for 1 sec. This is a 2 in the 2 position here. That's, we're going to come back to that, but anyway, looking at the 6 of Pentacles here, individual red cloak, giving money or alms to the poor. The scales of justice here, notice how the scales are balanced, and this is 6. This is an even number, right? 3 and 3, even. 6 is the number of family, and ironically, we see the 6 in the 3rd position. Now, that's part of the same trine, right? 3, 6, 9. It's the same trine. I think this is going to come into play in a little bit. I think it's going to be important. The manipulator in the authority position. The King of Wands in the 4th placement. Now, 4 right here. The 4 in numerology is indicative of... law, order. Think of the Emperor. The Emperor is the 4th card in the Major Arcana, and he embodies all the qualities of the 4. So, the King of Wands, first of all, this is a card of spiritual manipulation, right? A spiritual master, effectively. The wand is a fire sign, the wand is a spiritual sign. So, to see a king in this position, I would like to think that this individual in question who seeks to pleasure from your pain is either male or a female embodying male energy. Perhaps someone who has some sort of power over you, like a female boss. Perhaps they're just a woman with very masculine, very aggressive tendencies. Gender is not really relevant. It's more how the cards are assigned and what their meanings are relative to gender. Again, spiritual mastery, spiritual manipulation, and control of the elements as well. That's what the 4th position is telling us. Oh, well, that's fascinating. The 9 of Cups in the 5th position. So in numerology, 9 always chases the 5, right? The 9 is vain, the 5 is beautiful. I know this for a fact as I myself am a 9 life path. Now, we have an individual that's confident in their ability. You see, man spreading their legs spread wide, dominant position, arms crossed in arrogant defiance, a stance of I know best, a Trumpian smirk upon the face, Trumpian level tan too, might I add. And, I mean, you'd have to be confident or have a show on Bravo to wear a hat like that. And the 9, of course, the 9 of Cups. 9 in numerology is completion, right? So, and this is in the 5th position. So this individual is vain in their ability to control, right? So they have all 9, the whole spectrum of emotions arrayed there, and they confidently believe that with their ability as the King of Wands, they're confident in their ability to manipulate you. And I kind of want to visit back to the 2 for a moment here, and maybe the 6 of Pentacles here. The 2, this is effectively the choice that you make and that they make, right? And it's reversed because it indicates that no matter what choice you seemingly make, it doesn't really work out for you. And the 6 here represents the veneer of civility and kindness that this individual puts on. So other people might think that they're great and really nice, and when you tell them that, oh no, this person's really mean to me, they're probably not going to believe you because all they see is the generous, kind human being, right? It's like, I don't know, when you see someone, like hypocrisy obviously, but when you see an individual who stands publicly for truth and justice or something, and they're a bank robber in their spare time, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's a bit ridiculous. It's I could draw 20 better examples, but they would all be political examples, and I'm trying to not draw so many political examples because it's too. I find it annoying. It's almost like a cop out or a lack of effort. Give me one moment, please. I have to actually reply to this email. I'm ordering a new tarot deck. It's quite exciting, yet they keep messing up my address. I don't know why. One moment. Anyway, my apologies. So we are on the, sixth card now. My goodness. Oh, the Eight of Wands. Interesting. And they finally got it. It's very annoying. Like, the new deck that I'm getting is similar to this, but it's a little bit bigger and it's professional, right? So, like, these cards are thin. Same with these cards, they're relatively thin. The pro decks, because I go through decks really quickly, the pro decks are thicker, they last longer. But anyway, my apologies. So back to your reading here. This is the Eight of Wands in the 6th position. I don't really know how that's relevant right now. I think that's basically telling us, because this is a card of air travel, so I think this is, and in the 6th position, that's family. So I actually think that syncs up perfectly with what I was telling you earlier about how nobody believes you when you tell people that this individual is mean to you, is not good to you, whatever. That's the energies here embodied. I think that was a little bit of presumption on my part, but we're going to keep... Alright, let's bring it down a notch. It's the Emperor, reversed. Again, the King of Wands, upright, in the 4th position, and the Emperor reversed in the 7th position. So, we need to grab a little bit of humanity here, because I'm going to tell you something about this person that you may not have thought of, may not have realized, but the reason for their behavior, they were not always like this. Pardon me, they were not born like this. They became this person as a result of a trauma in their life. And I say that because the Emperor reversed is tyranny, but it's learned tyranny because it's in the 7th position. 7 in numerology is wisdom and learning, right? So it's in the 7th position because something happened. And I don't know if maybe it was bullying in the playground, maybe it was something to do with parent, a sibling, some sort of, someone behaved this way towards them in their life, and now they behave this way towards others in their life, right? It's a bit like if you grow up with a tyrannical father, you're likely to be a tyrannical father yourself. And what I'm about to say, some people might be put off by it, but I would encourage you to just research statistics a little bit yourself, and you would realize that this is true. But if you grow up with an abusive parent, you are, I think, 300% more likely to be an abusive parent yourself, because abuse becomes normalized to you, and then when you abuse others, you don't think of it as abuse because it's been normalized. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. It's an extraordinarily negative thing, and we have to keep these people in our thoughts and prayers. But at the end of the day, this is just factual, and it's reflected in this reading so far. And this is negative tyrannical experience, a negative experience with a figure of authority, and as a result, this person who treats you so poorly has learned that they need to masquerade as someone who has a good outward reputation, but on the inside is very, very cruel. Ellen DeGeneres, seemingly, is like this. There are so many people now coming out saying that what you see on the show is not reality, and she's actually very, very mean. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. I mean, sometimes when you employ hundreds of people at the television show, you have to be short, curt, and direct, and that can come across as being rude. Oh, okay, and so this is a card of karma in the 8th position. 8 is wealth and karma in numerology. I think wealth is relatively irrelevant here because all the pentacles we've drawn so far are representing material in the sense that this is how you're treated, right? Like if you and I were to meet right now, you would come away saying that, yeah, I'm nice because I try to be nice to everybody. And that the pentacles here represent our material, our physical interaction in the world, right? Our spoken word interaction. So seeing this in the 8th position, this is interesting because we have the karmic loop here, right? Like you see how it looks like an 8, the green wire joining the two pentacles, it looks like an 8. in the 8th position, and it's reversed. There's water in the background, ships being tossed about in the storm. This is just effectively karmic judgment, karmic relevancy, and it ties in perfectly with the Emperor there. It basically tells us that this individual is merely projecting what was projected onto them, and they don't, in fact, know any better. There's no way for them to change. There's no, there's nothing, nothing's going to change, right? If they're a boss or a family member, I pity you because it seems like something you might not be able to get away from in any significant capacity. Yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't know what to tell you in that regard. That would be your circumstance. I mean, you could book a private reading if you want. The link is down below. Maybe I can help you further with that. But, you know, if you have a cat that is raised from a kitten by dogs, it's going to pant like a dog because despite the fact it's a cat, it grows up with a different set of social programming, right? It thinks it's a dog. And if you're going to try and suddenly tell it to stop panting like a dog, it's not going to because it doesn't understand. I've witnessed this myself. And if you don't believe me, you can Google cat raised by dogs. Oh, the 5 of Pentacles in the 9th position. So again, a 9 in the 5th position, 9 chases the 5, a 5 in the 9th position, 9 chases the 5. So nothing's going to change, right? This individual is set in stone. They're not going to have a reckoning. And if you think that it's going to be like a Hollywood moment, like a come to Jesus moment, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's not the case here. It's just not happening. There's under no circumstances is it going to happen. I mean, it's really unfortunate, but it's the truth. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, the 9 and the 5 in both positions are very explicit about it. This just indicates the poverty of relationships, poverty of the quality of relationships this individual will continue to have as a result of their behavior. The 2 transient individuals here, barefoot in the snow, in pain, cold, hungry, etc., they represent this individual's relations and interactions with people. Meanwhile, the stained glass window here represents permanence, represents set in stone, represents no change, and that's what this individual embodies, and they will continue to treat you poorly, unfortunately, despite any protests you may have, because remember, they themselves are of a belief that everyone who cannot handle them is in fact weak, and with this behavior, they sit back and they say to themselves, well, it's your fault, right? It's not their fault. It's not their behavior that's causing you this problem. It's your weakness, right? It's your cowardice. It's your oversensitivity that's causing these issues. So, my apologies for the negative tone of this reading, but I think unfortunately it had to be said. So I thank you guys for your patience. I ask you hit that like and subscribe. If you'd like to book a private reading, you can click the link down below. I still have some availability. And other than that, we will see you tomorrow as well. We're going to try and get some more stone readings in. Thank you so much, Carrie, for the suggestion, and have a fantastic day, everybody.